Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis, of course, coming to you from IQ Podcast at Attorney King Studios in beautiful Coronado. Today, I have a very interesting young lady. Of course, I have to say that because I'm so damn old, but Kristel Dela Rosa.
Hello.
That's Kristel Dela Rosa.
Kristel, like you want to tell me something.
Right.
Yes, correct.
Isn't there an alcohol called Kristal?
Kristal, very expensive.
Is it the same? And that's you. You're very expensive.
I would be a millionaire if I
What
got...
should you say now? Actually, you can say anything you want.
For every time someone has said that to me, I would be so wealthy.
You just made me feel like a complete fool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let me ask you a question here. You have a very interesting life so far because you do you're a comic, of course. You're have a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
You also have a story in how you lost a bunch of weight, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But first, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that's tuning in today. And of course, I'd like to thank Attorney King for all his support and love. Without him, we wouldn't have Attorney King Studio, of course. Saquon Casino and Resort, great partners of the show.
Yes.
Do phenomenal, beautiful place to go.
Mm-hmm.
A great, just a great facility.
Yes, agreed.
Also, of course, I'd like to thank IB Fitness and Marina for what she's done for us. And she's been a great partner of the show since day one. I appreciate everything you do. Of course, Indian Motorcycle, if you get a chance, they do have Indian motorcycles that you can put booster seats on. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but now it's noted.
So, Tim, next time we were in India, I'm going to bring Kristel, of course, and we're going to let her ride a Scout, but
Yes.
you're going to have a booster seat. Now, the thing that's nice about that booster seat comes off and you can take it in restaurants and eat at tables. So that way you can see everybody when you're eating.
So considerate, Brett.
You don't have to be
Thank
under
you
the
so
table
much.
eating
I don't
your
have to
food
be under
anymore.
the table eating the food. The
Yeah.
booster seat, I'm using one now, you guys. This is why Brett is talking about that booster seat.
I remembered the booster seat. I used to use one when I was probably 3.
I can remember right now.
And you're like,
Every day.
I'm surprised you can even remember yesterday, Brett. Geriatrics.
Yeah, what did you eat for breakfast this morning?
A protein shake.
Oh, good job for remembering.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I knew you were coming, so I was prepping myself because
you wrote his jokes down.
I've been eating ribs and I've been eating crap all week. So I'm like, okay, this really fit chick's coming in who's this trainer / instructor / comic / whatever, and has lost all this weight. And I'm sitting here getting ready this morning, and as I'm getting ready, of course, heavy people sweat a little bit. So I started sweating, and I'm like, it's not even hot.
All people sweat.
Well, not really thin people.
I need to have a reason to sweat. I'm always schwitzing. That's what I call it.
Excuse me?
Schwitzing.
I thought you said shitzing.
No. Schwitzing.
I was going to say, I had that problem this morning, but I took some papaya enzymes. So anybody that anybody's doing shitzing,
you heard it here
papaya
first.
enzymes are really good. It stops the shitzing.
That was an inside scoop. You heard it here first on IQ Podcast.
Did you say inside poop?
Papaya inside scoop.
Oh, they said poop.
Or the inside poop for the inside scoop. Papaya for schwitzing.
So anyway, also, I forgot to thank our other sponsor, who probably is really pissed off because, I've already spent like an hour talking to you. It seems like, of course, Nikki Rotten's.
Nikki Rotten.
Have you been to Nikki Rotten's yet?
Yes, I have.
Isn't it great?
So good.
Good food, good atmosphere, great place to see some fights.
Yes.
Grab a drink.
That's actually a great place to see fights.
Oh, it's a great angle. You can see downtown. Beautiful.
Great
so
spot.
thank you, Tim, Aaron, for everything you do. And of course, we appreciate you. And so we're going to talk about Kristel.
Yeah.
So tell us where you came from, where you originally from. I came from my mother. No, where did you come from originally?
I'm actually born and raised in San Diego.
Really?
Southside San Diego, right near Imperial Beach. It's a little bit close to San Isidro and in between IB. So I call it Southside San Diego.
Okay.
That's where I'm from.
So you're a South Bay Street.
South Bay Street, honey. Yeah. Yes, I am.
Well, I'm a West Sider from Chula Vista, so.
I went to Chula Vista High School.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to school in that district. So very familiar with Chula Vista.
Yeah. I am too. My whole family went there.
Oh, really?
My mom, my dad, my aunts. A
Wow.
lot of history in that high school. Yeah.
Let's go Spartans.
People get honorary degrees for all their accolades and their academics. I got an honorary degree to please leave. Please leave. And
Brett Davis?
you need to go.
Get out of here.
Your grades aren't the greatest, but you need to just go. It's time for you to leave.
You're a disgrace to Chula
You know,
Vista High
yeah,
School.
you're
Get out.
the most likely to be a disgrace is what I got. You have the most likely to succeed.
No,
I was the most likely to be kicked out of school.
But look where you're at now.
Well, that's because my wife. She's
Thank
taken
you.
over where George Ornesorgan, my coach, and Gary Chapman.
Or, you know, he was our principal when I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made him cry.
George, I don't know if you remember Kristel. She said she made you
I made
cry.
you cry. I don't know if you remember this, Principal O, but I got kicked off from the journalism department because I was fighting for a journalism program.
I thought you were going to say you did plagiarism.
Oh, no. In secrecy. Ooh, those days. But I was pushing for a program like this to do newscasting. And
I could see you doing that.
Oh, I was like, good morning, Chula Vista.
Right.
Please rise and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. That was me.
So why did you get kicked off?
I was pushing for a media program, and I pushed way too hard to the point where I made some teachers upset.
What did you do? Put a knife through the throat? You're putting my article in now.
I was like, we're doing this live TV show, every announcement.
Well, I think it really scared him when you jumped on the desk and put the knife to the throat, because I mean, you couldn't do it because there's no way in hell that you, because I can visualize. I mean, I've seen you. You're trying to reach and get their knife, and they're like, what is this person trying? What are they doing? And then you had to jump on the desk to get their attention.
I did. And then after I did that, Coach, I was like, you can't do that. And then I did my speech I said, do you have a daughter? It's like, would you limit your daughter to following her dreams? And then I made him cry. And then he didn't suspend me. So
he's actually a very fiery person, but he has a big heart of gold.
Huge heart. Thanks, Coach O.
He was our legendary teacher of the century? Is that what it is? We're planning a long gig, so it's a century award. Forever. What was the title?
Teachers Academy.
No, but what was his title? He had a special one that we put together for him. His legendary teacher. We had legends, like 4 major legends. And he was in the top class for that. So he did, because he made such a difference in so many people's life. Apparently yours too.
Mine too. I loved Coach O.
Yeah. But I think you learn through adversity how to be better and become a better person, because myself, I got kicked off the football team.
Oh wow. Yeah. You go through a lot when something like that happens.
Yeah. I mean, it leaves I think it carries on, because you don't want to repeat those types of things in your life as you get older. You want to become better. Sometimes those things that really hurt you when you're younger end up being the most impactful things that take you to where you want to be or go.
100%. Those are big learning moments for sure.
So you left Chula Vista High School, and then where did you go?
I did. I left to go to Cal State Northridge in the Valley of LA.
Okay.
And my goal was, I thought I was going to do broadcast journalism. And I found out I just wanted to pretend and act as a news reporter, not actually find the story. I'm not that nosy. I could not be a nosy journalist.
Well, there's different types of journalism. There's the investigative ones that would probably be considered a little nosy.
Oh no, not me.
That's that's an investigative, and then that's the nosy ones that poke around and look for things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just the people that just tell the news and let people kind of make their own decision.
I wanted to do that, but going through these courses in college, I would be the person who was like, just tell me what you want. And then I would not do well in school because I wasn't digging for the story. So then I dropped that and decided I want to be a backup dancer in LA and pursue dance, because I did that growing up.
How did you feel? Your parents feel about you wanting to be a stripper?
That is not what a dancer is. Absolutely not.
Well, I mean, I think you're probably thinking great cash, probably a good way to put yourself in school.
I wanted to dance for artists, and that's exactly what I did. It's very different from stripping.
I apologize, because that's what I did for a short time when I was in college.
I
can't assume it just because I did it. I can't assume everybody's the same.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had no college debt, by the way. I did very well.
Good job.
Yeah. Well,
Good for you. That's a huge accomplishment.
20 years old. I mean, at 20, what do you know? I mean, you got, you're thinking you're going to meet a lot of people, good money. Of course, the final gig for me was when my mom decided to come in with other teachers, and it was a Friday night, and I'm sitting there getting ready to strip, and everybody's like, isn't that your mom out there?
You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, that was my last gig. Just totally
glad that was
threw a big time monkey wrench into the whole thing, because I was just like, there's no way in hell. So this day, she still doesn't know, by the way.
Sorry.
If she watches the show, she watches the show now, she's going to know, of course. But
I'm going to tell her to tune in on this specific live. So she's
at this point, she probably says, compared
whatever.
to everything else you've done in your life, it's nothing.
Yeah,
So you go to and you decide you don't want to be a journalist. You want to go into more of a dance thing. And then what happens with that?
I got into entertainment and very early on realized a lot had to do with, vanity. And that was tough, especially when you're young and then you just see beautiful people all the time. You really have to have a solid foundation of like good family to keep your head on straight. So luckily I had that. I come from Filipino family. And so they always reminded me to, just keep going and keep striving for it. And so I did. And I ended up dancing for a couple artists and really enjoyed it, but it was a hustle.
Do we know any of the artists?
Yes, Zayn Malik from One Direction.
Yeah.
When he went solo.
And we know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
My kids liked One Direction.
There you go. So when he left, which was like a very big deal at the time, I danced with him at the iHeartRadio award show
in Vegas,
in Los Angeles, when it was at the Inglewood amphitheater. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, so that was an awesome one. And then also Iggy Azalea. Her first music video.
Wow.
But I was
Why weren't you saying the names? I had to pull it out of you. Why are you so embarrassed of your greatness? That's phenomenal.
Thank you. I was more like a dancer number 7 in the background, but it
doesn't matter. You still did it. You still did it.
Yeah, I definitely built my resume. Yeah, those were really awesome gigs. And then from there, just did like a couple national commercials, and you sort of, those worlds fall into each other once you get an agency and you just get sent out for a couple stuff. So if you've heard of Home Advisor, which is now Angie's List.
No.
Don't
tell me you're Angie.
I wish. I was like, let me be the spokesperson.
That'd be such a great
just
gig.
Like Flo and Progressive. That would have been a great gig.
You know how many millions she's making probably?
Oh, she's good.
She would be a great interview.
We should get her on.
Why don't we, do you know her?
I don't know her.
She reminds me of remember
great.
Heather Arias? She reminds me of a Heather Arias type Flo. She says this awesome. Kind of quirky. You never know where she's going to come from with these commercials.
And she's got such great distinct character. So you can put her in any world in the progressive world. So she did really great for herself. I did testimonials for Home Advisor. Guys, those testimonials aren't true. They're not. They're real people, guys. Just in case, So I played like a single mom, not a parent.
Single mom.
Obvious.
Single mom
who needed Home Advisor to help put up curtain rods or whatever. It was just saying how great. Actually, the app is
sounds
awesome.
like a bad movie is what it sounds like. I'm a single mom. Some hunky looking guy comes in to hang your drapes.
That would have been a good commercial. I would have been like, yeah, let me get on Home Advisor.
Next thing you know, the music starts, bonk, 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 and the next thing you know,
I need help with these curtains. Please help me with these curtains.
And of course, he's talking, and the words come out 2 minutes later, like we were talking about earlier. And next thing, the movie's like 5 minutes. You guys do your thing, and then he's gone.
Why is every movie like that where a female is like, what do I do next? Females, when do you ever ask yourself that question? Women know what to do.
Women always know what to do. They're always 100 steps further ahead than everybody.
Thank you, Brett Davis.
Well, it's true.
Thank you.
It's true. Why do you think I married Sarah?
Shout out Sarah.
Only because I love her, and she
knows exactly what she's doing.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course she did, but that's another story. We can't get into what she knows and what she does. But, that's another thing.
Go, Sarah.
Is that a Filipino thing?
And that too.
Yeah, no, it's all about it's all about family, love, and she is the matriarch, and of course, everybody knows Sarah loves her, and we appreciate everything she does because Sarah. Yeah. So the other thing is that you have this interesting area of your life. I feel like you're on this journey still.
I still am,
right?
Definitely, for sure. Mm-hmm.
So you ended up gaining some weight.
I did. So
how did that happen?
When I figured out,
I know how it happens because I eat those things and I know how I gain weight.
Everything. Just like I eat everything.
What's your favorite cheat food?
Chicken wings and like Parmesan garlic fries with ranch. The best.
Do you like any candies or any? Are you
Mexican candy?
Oh my God. You're like my daughter.
Really?
Yeah, she's the same.
All
way.
the Mexican chips with the chamoy and the limon and the Valentina and the tapatio, they all rhyme. I love it. I could like de la 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 la. I could like do a whole rhyme. But yes, all of those things and my tostitos, like chips.
That's my daughter's. You sound like exactly like my daughter McKenna's diet.
Let's be friends.
So McKenna, I want you to hear what Kristel's telling you because she gained 60 pounds eating that crap.
I did, but now it's a good balance. I choose,
1 day a week.
2 days a week.
You do two cheat meals or two cheat days?
2 cheat meals on 2 different
Because
days.
you're burning a lot of calories, and we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you gained this. How long did it take to put 60 pounds on?
1 year. As soon as I turned 21.
If you get to be 50, you can put 60 pounds on in a week very easily.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I've got what? Maybe 30 or 20 years until then?
20?
20. I'm 30 now.
You don't even look 30. You look like 18.
I'm 18.
So you ended up putting this weight on. Was it just because were you going through something, or everybody gains weight for different reasons, right?
Right.
So what happened?
My reason was definitely went through a depression period because I stopped dancing because I felt like I needed to go back to school and pursue something. Even
was that more something you felt, or is that the pressure maybe you felt from your parents?
Absolutely felt it from my family and parents.
Because I know families typically, all families typically want the best for their kids, and they mean well, but I think sometimes they forget to let the person and the kid be who they are.
Exactly.
And go after their passion because they want them to get something like an accounting job or nursing or a sheriff, and those are all phenomenal jobs. But everybody has a specialty. Not everybody's going to fit that mold. I mean, it would be great but that's what makes us all unique.
Exactly. And I felt that for sure, what you're saying, the pressure to just at least pursue something, not so much a specific, but something with a full-time job with security. A lot of immigrant families, when they come here and, me as a first generation, the pressure of being able to have that security for their kids as well. So I just, dancing my whole life, it wasn't really in me to do a full-time job. I move around a lot, hence why I love to dance. So when I stopped dancing and decided to go back to school, that's when I gained all the weight. And I turned 21, drinking, eating all the things, all the chicken wings and all that kind of stuff.
You're making me hungry, by the way.
We should go next door after this and eat. Come join us. Nikki Ron.
Does he have chicken? Oh, he has chicken wings.
They're so good.
Some of the most amazing chicken wings. That's what I like about it.
Actually, I was thinking about that when you asked me my cheat meals from Nikki Ron's chicken wings and fries. But yeah, just packing it on, adding on the weight. That's what happened. And then before you know it, for me, I saw a picture of myself and was like, whoa, wow, what happened to you, girl?
So you didn't even realize.
I didn't even realize. I felt like I was a robot going through the motions, going to school, eating, drinking, working. Same repeat, and it just felt so robotic. And I wasn't myself anymore. I wasn't happy. I was just, and I would look at girls who were fit and beautiful, and I just was like, whatever. I don't need that in my life. But it was just because I was so caught up in my own world of just not pursuing what I truly wanted to do.
Well, I think there's something very challenging when you're not really sure where you're going or what direction, and you somehow get off course, but you have to go through that, I think, in order to really figure out where you're going.
Absolutely true. I didn't have a sense of purpose, and I didn't have the clarity of where I was going. I mean, even at 18 and 21, I thought I knew I was doing, and then I stopped because of the pressure. And then one day I had one of my good friends take me to like a group fitness class, and I fell in love just because, instructors really matter. You got to be with someone that you really trust. And she made me feel
good teachers.
Good teachers. Exactly.
I mean, because you have to have that person and to motivate you and inspire you when you're not feeling that way. At least say the right things and get you through. And you need that throughout life, and anything you do, you need to have that coach or teacher.
Yes. Even someone just saying your name in a class, like Kristel, great job. It's everything in that moment, especially when you're struggling through those moments. So I just kept continuing to go, and slowly but surely decided, I definitely want to take this path. And there was a lot of trial and error. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to lose weight now. There was times where I thought, oh, let me lose weight for this event, or let me lose weight for someone's wedding. That doesn't work, you guys, by the way.
It's a temporary.
Yeah. And then if you go cold turkey, you go right back into your old habits. So it took me a couple times to figure it out. And the time that I took my time to do it, and at my own pace, and took those classes, that's sort of when I started to develop into, okay, now I understand a little bit.
So how long did it take you to lose? It was 60 pounds you lost, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to lose that?
I want to say 6 to 8 months.
Okay. So you took it off slow.
Took my time.
Which is the best way, because it means it stays off longer.
Exactly. And that's actually what happened. I took my time into losing the weight, but also changing my diet. So it started with maybe, okay, today I'm going to eat how I regularly eat, but one meal a day,
Mhm.
I will change out for a healthy meal. And then the next week could be 2 healthy meals,
Mhm.
and slowly over the course of the months and then continuing to do group fitness and work out, everyone just started to notice, whoa, it's like I was like, every time I ran, I was like, I'm just running away all the fat. I'm running away from all the fat in my body. And that's what happened over time. And then I became really in love with not just the vanity, how my body looked, but you start to have that adrenaline
Mhm.
and you have that relationship with yourself where you have more clarity with your soul. It started outward, but then I started tuning a lot inward of like what my body would feel like. How do I feel about things? Your perspective shifts a lot. And that was a thing for me. And I slowly got out of that depression, over time.
Well, I think there's a combination, and we were listening to a show earlier this morning as we were working till wee hours in the morning about how inflammation
Mm,
has an effect on your positive emotions and the way you feel, because
mm,
it really, there's a high risk for why people get depressed, as a lot of it has to do with inflammation. And then of course exercise. And I
mm,
always knew that exercise and nutrition, I always have, because I went through my own challenges too, and I know this.
mm.
Exercise and nutrition are the best antidepressants you could take, two combinations together.
Amen.
You
So
know.
true.
So
So
how did
true.
so what do you what class did you take, or what are you doing now?
So at the time I was taking this class called cardio bar. So it was like
Oh, so you went there
dancers
originally thinking it was you're going to have shots of tequila and beer, and then
and
of
run across you run across the bar, you take a shot, and then you run across the bar and take a shot.
is that over
Cardio
in East
bar.
Lake?
No, this is while I was in LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a franchise called Cardio Bar, and it was like a dancer's workout. So you'd have a bar, you do stuff in the center, a lot of sculpting and leaning out. So it's a good start for me for sure. But as I was going through that, I found a lot of yoga as well, and then I got certified in teaching a class called Flight, which is a hybrid of cardio dance and yoga.
Oh.
So I was an instructor for many years. I still teach it now. And then I discovered an F45 gym in LA, and I
There's a gentleman that owns it. He's Asian. Is that the one you went to?
is it Andrew?
What's his last name?
Ooh, I don't know his
What
last
part
name.
of LA?
Sherman Oaks,
Okay.
South Encino, and Woodland Hills.
Okay.
He owns Calabasas as well. There's 4 of them.
Calabasas F45. Okay.
So Calabasas, Woodland Hills, considered Warner Center, Sherman Oaks, and South Encino are all owned by the same person.
Okay.
And so I actually walked into, I was actually going through again, when I lost the weight, I found at the time was my husband, and he was a tennis player, and he showed me more things about working out. And then
So we went right
we
from
went right
you
from,
didn't even talk about
we didn't
what
even talk
happened
about
with the
that.
wedding. Some reason
Uh,
that's a red button for you. You didn't want to talk about that.
no, we're like, we're going to skip right over that. No, we could talk about it.
How long are you married?
Um,
How long are you married?
I was married for 3 years.
Okay.
I married at 24 and divorced at 27.
Okay.
And we were together for 5 years. And he was a big reason of my weight loss as well, because I was becoming a cardio bunny, and he taught me how to use weights, and he was a tennis player. And then when we divorced, unfortunately, he got diagnosed with schizophrenia, and that got really difficult. And he's from Brazil. And
Oh,
so
wow.
it was a really tough time. You hear it a lot.
Do you think he always had the schizophrenia and nobody just it was never diagnosed?
I think
'Cause I don't
he's
think
always had it
I don't
in
think it just
his.
happens one day. I think
No,
it's
it's
right progression, or
his specific diagnosis is genetic. So he's had that mental illness in his family. And for men,
so
I did
schizophrenia is a genetic thing,
not all the time. In
but
his
there's
case,
there's a
there's
connection.
a connection for sure.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so interesting. And I only know about this now, obviously, because of my experience with my ex. But with men, if it's in your DNA, when you eventually get a diagnosis by the time the male turns around 26, 27, and he was 27 at the time.
Wow.
And we didn't have kids or anything like that. So he actually did a really loving thing in my eyes, and how we looked at it as, he needed to be home with family in Brazil. And we sort of did this, like, I mean, I wouldn't say clean divorce, but he needed to be with family. And he said, you can't pursue dance or comedy and all this if you're going to be my caretaker. that was a tough decision to, I'm, committing and making a vow to someone saying, I'm going to be here no matter what, right? Sickness and health. And this was that moment. But he said, I can't live a life knowing that you wouldn't be pursuing fully what you're meant to do on this earth. So we ended up getting a divorce. And during that time, I was just trying to find something else different. And I found the F45 gym, took my free week class, and then spoke to the owner and said, are you guys hiring? And he said, we're not, but I've seen you move. Come back at 5 a.m. And as a joke, he didn't think I would show up at 5 a.m. And I did.
What's a good test to find out who's serious?
Yes, to see. And I was so craving for something new, especially after you go through something like that.
So when you got into this type of training, because it's kind of circuit based, and what else?
HIIT style intervals.
HIIT, circuit interval.
A lot of cardio. And you do a lot of hybrid. So you do a lot of resistance with
and the workout's
cardio.
40 minutes. 45 minutes.
And then Saturdays obviously are an hour just because you have more time. And every day is different. So you would have Monday, Wednesday, Friday is more cardio and weights. And then Tuesday, Thursday, strictly just weights. Saturday, you get a little mix of both. So
when you went into that type of training, how different was it from what you were doing before?
Completely different.
In which way?
In terms of, I'm so used to doing sculpt and leaning and sort of Jane Fonda type style workouts where it's a lot of dance.
Surprised you know who Jane Fonda is.
Oh, I know my history.
So you know about the old people, huh?
She's iconic. I love Jane Fonda. She really sculpted.
Is that what you call old people now? Iconic?
Iconic. My mom, iconic.
So from now on, everybody, I want you to know why I am not a senior citizen. I am iconic.
You should actually announce yourself like that.
What?
IQ podcast host, the iconic Brett Davis.
Well, already people think I'm a pain in the ass, so why would I add more fuel to the fire? I guess why not at my age? Who cares, right?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's their problem, right?
It's there. So
it's all your guys' problem. I'm iconic now, okay? I'm iconic, and I've gotten the official seal of approval, the little knighted. Yes. I've been knighted iconic.
Brett Davis is iconic.
By Kristel.
This is iconic. IQ podcast is iconic.
Well, it's iconic because I think that the stories will resonate with people for a long time. And I think everybody needs to hear more good, inspiring stories instead of all the negative crap. And I think that's what, if we're iconic, it's going to be because we're more an optimist. We will cover things that are not so pleasant, but we'll always try to find light at the end of the tunnel.
I actually love that you said that. I feel that is mostly how I look at life, especially.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
If you're going to have longevity and you're going to keep making strides to do better, you need to have good, positive. I mean, you can't imagine getting up being negative every day.
I cannot with curmudgeon-y. I was just in, no offense to anyone from Florida, but there's a little bit of this curmudgeon in Florida because every time I greeted someone, they always said, "You're so positive." I'm like, Florida is like San Diego if it sucked.
Say that again.
Florida is like San Diego if San Diego sucked.
I don't know what to say.
I'm sorry, Florida.
So you're saying,
but they know it too. Florida knows it. They know. Listen, you're by the beach in Florida. You should be so happy. Yet everyone is so curmudgeon-y. That's how I
really?
say it. Yeah.
Everybody. What about Orlando? What about Disney World?
You know what? I should rephrase that. South Florida. I was in Fort Lauderdale, and
that's supposed to be like the party place.
It's supposed to be the party place, and I was there, and I don't think people were amused with my bubbly personality.
What were you doing going up? Hey, how you doing today? By the way, your nostril hairs need to be trimmed.
Oh no, I was always like, "Hi, thank you so much," or greeting everybody, and I don't think they're.
So they didn't believe. They didn't believe.
I don't think they thought I was being truthful.
I've had people tell me that, and I've heard that before. When you're optimistic and I had somebody one time. I used to be in the gym business.
Yeah.
Years back, and I had somebody come in because I really loved what I did.
Yeah.
And I had somebody come in, a girl come in one day who'd been coming in for I don't know a year or so.
Yeah.
She said, "I got to ask you a question." She said, "Is this really you? Is this really who you are?"
Gosh.
And I said, "I hope so. I hope it's me."
I hope it's me.
Yeah. Other than
I woke up and
it's me. I mean, other than the voices I hear, I mean, I think I'm me, but she says, "No, really." She says, "You always seem so happy." And I says, "I am." And I'll tell you why, because I can't fake it. And I'm very easy to read. And if I love what I'm doing, just like I'm sure you're the same way.
Yeah.
So you're very happy go lucky. So tell me, how did you get into being a comic? Because you're also a comic.
Oh my goodness. I feel like my Filipino family I'm like bred to do this, just because if you come from a Filipino family, you know that you're always put up on stage in front of your aunties and everyone. They're like, tell the story. Come on, tell them.
So is that how Joey Coy made it?
That's how, dude, the moment he talked about his mom and his family, his career
I felt
launched.
Yeah, because it's real.
It's so real. He did it for so many years. And then the moment he spoke about his mom made him so different from every other comic. And because it was so relatable and real, and how many Filipinos are out here just going, oh, I can relate to that. But yeah, I agree so much with what he says. A lot of the stuff that I hear, and a lot of my comedy is my mom, my aunts, and the craziness that we go through as a first generation dealing with like old traditions. But yeah, I've always felt like I've had that jester quality in anything I've done. Even as a dancer, we would go on tour and I was always the one like cracking jokes or roasting people, all in good fun. And most of my comedy is physical and a lot of impressions and act out. So most of my punchlines I'll set it up and then it's mostly me acting out the moment. I love doing impressions. My dream is to be on SNL. So I work on characters constantly. So if you see me staring at you and you're in Coronado, I'm probably getting inspired by a character.
I don't know what to say. If you're staring at somebody, they might think you're stalking them.
Oh, and I'm just staring at them. I'm just so observant.
Why is that young girl in the booster chair staring at me like that? Now she's standing on the booster chair looking at me like that.
What is she doing? Yeah, 2020, January 2020 was the first time I decided. And this is once my divorce was finalized.
Is that when it was finalized? 2020?
Actually, 2019. And then I spent holidays with, my family. And after being home, I realized I need to start pursuing. I thought this, if I get run over by a bus tomorrow, am I going to be happy with the life I lived?
So when you came to that conclusion or that observation, did you say 2020? It was
2019,
going into 2020.
Going into 2020.
So, because I think 2020 for a lot of people was, people really reflected on what they had done with their lives and where they were going. And some people just said, I don't give a damn, and maybe just didn't care anymore and just really got depressed.
Right.
But there's some people that really went through some massive changes. And I get that because we're all come from different circumstances.
Right.
So for you, it was a good thing.
It was a good thing. I had time to actually not work. I feel like as soon as I moved to LA, I was constantly working and hustling because that's what the city requires.
What's LA?
It's LA. You got to pay your rent and do this and pursue your dreams all at the same time. Right. So I thought this was a great opportunity for me to really just train in this form. So I pursued stand-up comedy in classes. It took all the classes online that I wouldn't be able to do in person, like all over the country. Did improv, stand-up. I did the Groundlings Theater in LA, which is where the iconic like Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig went to school. That's where they create their characters. So I really took that time to just train.
So there was a school that Will Ferrell went to?
Yeah, it's called the Groundlings Theater. And most of the SNL stars that you see are from the Groundlings Theater.
And this is from LA?
This is in LA.
How do you spell it?
Iconic.
How come I've never heard about it? How do you spell it?
The Groundlings. Like
Groundlings.
Groundlings. Mm-hmm.
How do you spell it?
Groundlings. Groundlings.
I can't imagine there being a school that would fit Will Ferrell's personality.
Oh, he thrived so well.
No, I mean, I see this guy being kind of like Robin Williams, just somebody that just really just goes out there and is who he is. And he's not really being, because I mean, Robin Williams in my mind I saw Robin Williams perform, by the way. Live.
Oh, amazing. He's
genius. I mean, and the crazy thing is I understand he never was really scripted.
Improv. That's what the whole school is about.
He was what do they call those really rare? He was a rare animal or rare. There's something they used to call him.
I don't know the word, but
he's iconic.
He's so iconic. But this Groundlings Theater that's essentially improv. Robin Williams was an improviser.
So you went there?
I went there on Zoom during the pandemic, which is very different.
Yeah, it's big time different.
So different. I mean, just to have the energy to be in front of a screen and then,
being in an audience is a whole different vibe.
So different vibe. But and also it's a lot of pressure because if you're going to do this in theater school.
Hey, right away with an audience.
What's that?
You know right away with an audience.
Oh,
There's
yes.
no, I mean, you get the vibe.
The
I mean,
energy.
there's a vibe that you get from
Yeah.
it. You know, I know.
There's an exchange there.
Yeah, there
right?
is.
And on the screen, it's like, it's sort of, you kind of have to take yourself out of, oh, I'm in a conference call. This is, we're doing acting class, but it worked. And I did the tools, and I did like level 1, and now I'm doing like intermediate, and intermediate's more character-based work.
Mhm.
So I get to do my mom a little bit, but also characters that aren't as developed. Very cool stuff. Learn from there.
So how long is that class typically, do those programs last?
Around 12 weeks.
And then you're done?
Weeks. And
Is
then
it every day?
so say for 12 weeks, say my class is on Monday, it's every Mondays. And then you go on, and then it gets competitive as you go on through the stages of groundling. So say I'm an intermediate, you can only pass it one time to get into advanced. Because as you go through, the people that end up on the company of the Groundlings Theater are pretty much the ones that audition for SNL.
I wonder if Joe Rogan went there.
I don't think so.
Rogan's got a whole different type of comedy.
Different.
And I'll be honest, Joe is the reason I got in the podcast, because I didn't know who he was.
Iconic
He kept talking.
podcaster,
This
Joe
guy,
Rogan.
I got these emails from, hey, Joe Rogan says your show's the bomb. Joe Rogan says your show is this, it's that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
who's Joe Rogan? Sarah, I'm like,
Oh
Sarah,
my
who's Joe Rogan?
goodness.
This is like 3-4 years ago. So I didn't know who
Yeah.
Rogan was. And he was calling me out on my shows. And so we Googled who Rogan was, and I was shocked at the numbers. And I'm like, we need to do podcasts. So we have podcasts because of Rogan. But I'll be honest, I've seen his
Yeah.
comedy. I think it's good, but I don't think it's great.
It's different. When you say Joe Rogan in comedy, I'm speaking specifically on improv. Improv is not the same as stand-up comedy.
So is he improv or is he stand-up?
He's stand-up. Stand-up comedy. So
But I wonder if he's improv too, because he's always
got
kind
the
of
skill for sure.
right.
He's definitely an
Well,
improviser.
he's got the timing. I think the timing comes from his MMA background.
Yeah. And that's different too, is like you can absolutely use your improv in stand-up. I use that too when I host mics. When you roast, you obviously have to go off of the audience. And if a waitress drops something, you got to make a comment. You can't not acknowledge what's happening in the room. So your improv skills come in, and you got to be really quick on your feet to acknowledge what's going on. And then stand-up is different. It's pretty much like your own monologue. You directed it, you wrote it, and you perform it. And you have to remember each time you do it and perform it just like that.
Wow.
And then to also not get sick of the same jokes that you say over and over again at each mic.
I would think, and I've been around a lot of performers, I would think that going out and trying a different angle and trying to be as fresh every day as you could would be vital in order for your performance.
Absolutely. And that's why there's open mics for just comics that you would go to just practice. And then you would see, okay, this is hit, and you have to know your audience. So I did a show 2 weeks ago in LA at Flappers, and that was more, I could do more rated R. You can
Is a flapper like a fluffer?
Like like in the 1920s.
Fluffer, somebody in the porn industry, they help. I don't know what they do. It's called a fluffer.
I don't know what that is. Flappers, like 1920s.
Flappers is different than a fluffer, I guess.
Very different. But Flappers had more, you could, say all the words you want. It wasn't a PG-13 show.
Okay.
But the show that there's shows in San Diego like Comedy Heights, that's more PG-13. They book more like for corporate events. So you don't want to drop F-bombs in there.
I think the good comics know how to diversify to the audience.
Yes.
That's a specialty and a gift. I don't think everybody can do that.
Yeah, if you get on a late night show and you get a slot to be able to do your comedy, you have to make sure that's PG-13.
Right.
And there's certain words that you have to switch out. Even that being calculated when you're, writing a joke.
So radio is the same way. Our station will totally they'll lose their license if you do F-bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do F-bombs here and, you'll be fine.
And you'll be okay.
Right. So you've got a reality show, winning this reality show that you just did. Talk about this reality show that you won.
Yeah. So while working at F45, one of my clients and members was a casting director for a reality TV series and said, hey, I think you'd be great for the sports competition show. Great. I'm thinking American Ninja Warrior. It's like, sure, I'll audition. No chance of me getting in. Come to find out, I do the interview. He's like, you're great. We're going to have you on as a backup person. So meaning if someone gets hurt on set, we're going to throw you in there. Had no idea it had anything to do with parkour. The show's called Ultimate Tag on Fox, and you pretty much chase each other in these insane obstacle courses.
Sounds like a bad relationship.
Yeah, that's what that show is. And so you go through your rounds, and there's different ones. And I just really was like, I don't want to get injured. I just want to survive. That was my mentality. But it was like really fun experience.
How long did it last?
It was 2 weeks on set at the Warner Brothers studio.
How
And
many hours a day?
you were there sometimes from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m.
They're like 10, 12-hour days.
10, sometimes 15, depending if
Wow.
you have to film your next episode. And they do it like American Idol. You just shoot it in 2 weeks and then you're done. And then they spread it out.
So you did pretty well.
I did pretty well. I ended up winning my episode.
Good job.
Thank you. I actually have a story about that. The winnings was 10 grand. And I remember coming out of divorce, I wrote myself a check like Jim Carrey did. And I wrote, I just need 10 grand to get a fresh start. I'm going to pay off this debt, blah, 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 blah. Don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm going to keep working every day. Had no idea that this was that opportunity. And
you got it.
I got it. It clicked that when I got the winnings.
I totally believe in putting things out. Like some people would say, putting it out to the universe. I think when you own things,
yeah,
and you say things, words positive and negative can happen.
And you have to, and you believe it.
Sure.
Yeah. Your cells, it all sends signals. It all is so connected. So, even with someone healing, I just say, picture your body healed. Like if you get sick, picture it like you are healed. You are healed. It's not trying. It's like you are, as if in the present, and you have to believe those words. So that's sort of what happened with that. And that was the first time that happened, that moving forward in anything in my life. I even said last month, I said, I'm going to perform at the La Jolla Comedy Store, and I'm performing there in 2 weeks.
And that's where I saw Robin Williams.
And that's where in the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Yeah. It's iconic. I saw Richard Pryor there. I saw George Carlin.
Yeah.
I saw all the greats.
The Comedy Store is where all the greats have performed and did all their sets and jokes. And it's awesome. Actually, right now, because things are open again, comics are popping into all the comedy stores. Not comedy stores, comedy venues, just to try out what they're going to do on tour, because they're getting ready for a special or something. So Joe Coy's popped in a couple. Jay Leno was at my show 2 weeks ago.
Really?
He popped in, did his 15-minute set.
Where was this?
This was in Burbank, so in LA.
Yeah, he lives in that area.
He's just always driving around there in his,
different car every couple of days.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think he's performing there at the end of the month or something like that. So
what we want to do more with comic and also the military. We'd love to talk to you more about that and see how we could get something going. Yeah. We've been trying for about a year, but of course everything.
Of course.
But I think we're going to do a huge military event with comedy, and I think it's going to be very successful.
Oh, that would be so awesome. I come from a military family, so.
Good. So I think we can do some good things and maybe raise some funds for post-traumatic stuff.
Honestly, that'd be amazing. That sounds so great.
We'll love to work with you on that.
Yeah.
So do you have any sites or emails or something we can give people? Websites?
So most of my stuff's on Instagram. It's just my first and last name together. And then I have all the links on there in my bio for all the shows. I'm teaching this Sunday that flight class, dance and yoga at the Athleta store in Fashion Valley. If you go to my Instagram and go to link, all of the upcoming shows and things I'm doing and all things I'm up to are all on there, including IQ Podcast, the iconic Brett Davis.
Well, I appreciate that. She's saying I'm old. Iconic it means that I'm old.
That should be in the Urban Dictionary. Iconic equals old person.
I don't know.
Legendary old person.
No, well, yeah. I mean, after a certain period of time of surviving, everybody's a legend, right? But anyway.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, we made it. I don't know what that means. You're drinking Ensure now is what it means.
Oh, no, not Ensure. Oh, my God.
So what's a website? Something?
Just Instagram at Kristel Dela Rosa.
Nobody your age uses websites anymore. They use Instagram.
I'm going to say that Instagram is the new website. It's your new branding.
What about TikTok? Are we doing a TikTok stuff?
We're going to do TikTok stuff. I got TikTok stuff. That's also in the link in my bio, my Instagram. Cool. I just have everything linked up like a true millennial. Right?
Why do you say it like that?
I just really want to make sure I'm not a Gen Z. We're very different. I'm like,
I'm an
elder millennial, so I have to.
This is going to be another show. We'll do a show on Gen X and all these other and the baby boomer. I'm a baby boomer.
We should do a game, baby boomers versus Gen Z versus millennials.
That would be phenomenal.
Like a cue card game.
Yeah. No,
how would they answer?
I think we should do. I think it's a great idea.
Right?
Let's do it.
Let's do the game. Look at that.
So, and you're also involved with F45.
Yes, F45 Coronado, the Coronado squad. That story too. I walked in with the intention of being a member and just doing a workout. And
everywhere you go, everybody wants to hire you.
It's the magic, honey. It's this magic.
There you go. There you
You got to
go.
walk around with your own magic. Everyone's got to figure out their potion. That's what I say. Figure out your potion and walk around with your magic and see what happens next.
There you go. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Had a good time. Went by fast.
So fast. I can
Right?
talk all day on this too.
Only to me though, right?
Just to Brett Davis, guys.
Right.
We could do this all day.
She's very shy. She doesn't talk to a lot of people.
I don't talk to a lot of people.
I don't believe it.
And I don't talk to a lot of people on a booster seat. So this is a special moment. This is a special moment.
Okay, there you go. You heard
Here
it?
we go.
Thank you so much, Kristel.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody, we've got to go. A 20-minute interview ended up being F45, and we're done. Everybody have a great day. Am I kidding? We finished at 45 minutes.
We did it. We sure did. Bye, guys.
Everybody take care. Bye.